I'm Kevin Cars, and I'm reviewing a 2025 Ford F150 XLT. And this wouldn't be a Kevin Cars review if the check engine light wasn't on, so let's turn that shit on and let's get started. This truck is personal for me because my first vehicle ever was a 1994 F150 with the straight six, the 300 CI, and the 5-speed manual. It was white, just like this truck, and it had a very basic interior, just like this truck, and it had a bench seat, just like this truck. And somehow, 30 years later plus, Ford is still able to offer a very truck-like experience in a world of EVs and hybrids and men that dress like women and women that dress like men. It's a very interesting package that you wouldn't think would stand the test of time. Not everything has made it. You can no longer get an F-150 with a manual transmission. However, there are other elements that are still here. You are still able to buy a truck with a bench. I thought bench seats went away because of safety and style and the need to have a center console. It may not be the safest seat in the vehicle. I won't be sitting here if I'm pregnant. Also, if I'm pregnant, there are other issues. It's nice to be able to have more or less a jump seat, just in case you need an extra seat to take some friends with you. There's a V8 still. Back then, you could get the 5.0, made about 215 horsepower. This 5.0 has dual overhead cams. It does not disappoint in here, and I will give you some audio soon enough. Stick around and be patient. In this configuration, the Gen 4 makes about 400 horsepower and about 400 foot-pounds of torque with both direct injection and port injection. So you don't have a lot of the issues that only direct injection cars have.
You got to be careful of carbon buildup. You see all this carbon buildup? Okay, what this is going to creep into the seals and it's going to cause all kinds of misfires.
This engine is somewhat reliable. Ford has had this engine available in the F-150 for quite some time. Originally offered in 2011 in the first gen, and they had lots of issues with cam phasers, the timing chain, oil leaks, and a lot of that has already been sorted. Now you have a pretty reliable power plant that makes good power, has been tested for millions and millions and millions of miles, and still gives you some of that nostalgic truck feeling and vibe. There are some new things for 2025. A revised fascia, has wireless CarPlay, which is actually really slick, connects to your phone really quickly. The towing and payload has been updated, and I'll put those numbers right here for you guys to see them. What is more important is the creature comforts that have been more or less refined inside of the truck. It's quiet in here. I'm able to record without a mic. I forgot my freaking mic this week, and I am still recording because we ball. The ride is surprisingly soft. My F-150 from 30 years ago didn't ride anything like this. Now, modern trucks today ride a little bit better. Not a lot. Some ride better than others. Most notably the Dodge Ram with its air suspension. There's lots of storage throughout the truck that make it very useful. There are lots of places for your phone to fall and for you to never find it again. And alas, we still have real buttons in this truck. This really reminds me of my truck. Although a blue interior is not offered, Ford, bring back the colored interiors for cloth. We love those, and those are not expensive to build. This is a dye. Just make it red or make it blue or green. People would love that. Let's get back to that powertrain. Now, a lot of people criticize the 5.0 for not having the mid-range of the EcoBoost. The 5.0 makes good power. A truck that could do 0 to 60 in about 6 seconds 10 or 20 years ago was considered extremely fast. Speaking of power, let's go ahead and get rolling. We have the gear shifter on the tree. It feels good, and there is a plus and minus here for manual control of transmission. I really appreciate that Ford put real buttons in this truck because it adds to this like really tactile experience, and that's part of it. I don't typically glaze normal vehicles. traffic. This is a very normal truck, but I love it for that. I also have to glaze Ford engineers because that engine note sounds really good. And it's a mix not only of the exhaust coming out the rear, but also the intake noises coming out of the engine bay. And I don't think that they're pumping anything in. I just think it sounds good. And for all of your guys' awareness, I got this truck with less than 7 miles on the odometer. So there is no exhaust leaks or nothing wrong with it. Actually, I mean, I ran over a nail. That's the biggest thing that I had to worry about. Someone like me, and someone probably like you, will appreciate that exhaust note. But I could see that getting tiresome over time if you're riding with your mom or friends that don't know what cars are supposed to sound like, or if you simply just don't give a shit about engine sounds. I could see how that could get annoying. But then buy something else. Buy the EcoBoost. Buy a Toyota. Because Toyota put their 3.4 V6 in there and it sounds like junk. You want something that sounds bad but makes good power, there you go. The XLT comes pretty well equipped. Power outlets in the front and in the rear. Power outlet also in the bed as well. The 10-speed automatic is well sorted for the most part. There are some instances where I was able to kind of catch it off guard. I've definitely noticed on a handful of occasions that the transmission just was kind of having a smooth brain moment, and then it kind of got with the program.
I can almost taste it.
This truck starts at under $55,000, and I know that sounds like a lot, because it is for a truck, but that's just what the market is. These trucks are still selling. Ford is still selling trucks. Now, not as many as they potentially could. Granted, they've also moved this truck kind of up market. The Maverick has taken over the entry-level position that was formerly held by the Ranger back in the day. Now you have the Maverick, the Ranger, the F150, you have all these options. But now the F150 has kind of been pushed up because now that Ranger Maverick is taking up that space of that entry-level truck. You used to be able to go and get like a bare bones F150 and it be comparable to a nicely equipped Civic. This is way more expensive than a nicely equipped Civic. And all pickup trucks are priced like this. It's not like Ford is taxing more than any of the other manufacturers. They're charging a lot for these vehicles. It would be nice to have a bare bones truck that wasn't $50,000. That's just the market we're in, unfortunately. And for you to get a quad cab XLT with a radio that actually connects to your phone, it costs about $50,000. Now, for 2025, Ford has done some reworking of their packages to offer a base trim in addition to the normal trims. You can save yourself a little bit of cash by choosing those options, but they're really not that much cheaper. But shouts out to Ford for at least trying. So, the ultimate question. Would you take this over a Ram? Would you take this truck over a Silverado? Would you take this truck over a Tundra? If I had to answer the question, which I would, I trust this truck more than I trust the Ram. Like the character of this truck more than I like the Tundra. I have yet to drive a fully kitted out GMC Denali Sierra. This may be one of the last real trucks, and it's a damn good one. From now and then never being able to truly experience getting behind the wheel of a truck that just has no electronic propulsion. That wraps up this review. Let me know what you think about this truck in the comments. Would you spend $50,000 to have a truck with a 7,000 RPM red line. And remember, if the check engine light ain't on, it's not my review. Peace.